Thank you for that introduction, and thank you to our first speaker for going so deep into technology. I'm going to go the exact opposite way. I'm not going to talk about technology at all. Okay? So I'm very honored to be here, and I'm very honored to hear your stories, and I'm going to share a little bit of my own. I deeply believe that small actions can create great change in our world. I believe that many people don't realize the power of a small action. Just think back to a time when the first person you saw in a day smiled at you. I mean, really looked at you and smiled. What effect did that have? Did it feel good? Did you smile back? Did you feel like the weight of the world came off your shoulders? Or did you feel like it was a little bit creepy and you started walking faster? Either way, it had an effect on your life in that day. Such a small action. I want to share this quote from Peter Marshall. Small deeds done are better than great deeds planned. I see some smiles in the audience. I think you believe this to be true. Maybe you wake up in the morning and you do something small, like make your bed, or write in a journal, or have some exercise, and the day seems to get better because you've taken action. We've also had the opposite. I know I have. You have world-changing plans. You are going to do something big today. Except for you go into work, you sit at your computer, and you scroll endlessly through today's fake news. Okay. Yes, everyone's had that day. So it really does seem that small actions can have a greater effect than great deeds planned. Yeah? And so that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about the power these actions have. Let me talk about UPSHIFT. UPSHIFT is a program designed to build capacity and deliver opportunities to Vietnam's most marginalized youth. The program has 3 phases: outreach, a workshop, and incubation. Each phase has a different purpose and pace, but together they create a curriculum that is designed to help young people identify problems, create a plan, and take action. The program is based on the idea that sometimes the barrier to entry to defining a future, defining a goal, setting a plan, and simply doing it, the barrier of entry is so high, it is the first and last thing people see before they give up. We set out to show the youth in Ho Chi Minh City that no matter where they came from, who they were, who their family was, what experience they had, what abilities they had or did not have, it didn't matter. They too could take action. Our program is defined by 4 easy E's: equity, empowerment, education, and entrepreneurship. For us, in our program, education means collaboration, communication, leadership, critical thinking, and perseverance. These skills that we see as being very important to the youth of today to navigate their unknown future. We know that the world is changing incredibly quickly. We know that school systems are struggling to keep up with this change. We know that these skills will be important, if not critical. We know that these skills are learnable. And we also know that many youth never get the chance to be taught them. Equity. In our program, equity means any young person may join our program, no matter what their background is. In our program, you will interact with people from different backgrounds and ages and value systems. And you will learn firsthand that you never know where the game-changing insight will come from. So you have to learn to listen to everyone. Empowerment. We break down barriers. Our youth ask us, or they tell us rather, I don't know how. We teach them. They say, I don't understand. We show them. They say, it's too hard. We help them structure their thoughts and break them down into smaller actions that are more feasible. They say, it's too hard. We connect them with a mentor who can help them find that inner strength, to find the confidence that they need to take that action. Then we make sure they have just enough money and working space, so they have no more excuses left not to take at least the very first step. And that's all we ask. Finally, entrepreneurship. For our program, entrepreneurship is our channel. It is our method. We believe that entrepreneurship does not discriminate, it empowers, and it educates. So, what actions do we ask of these youth? First, we ask them to tell us who they are in their own words, to take their brain and bring it and put it out on paper, and we help them connect it to different ideas and communities and stakeholders. Who are they in their own words? It's very important. Next, we bring them into a workshop and we help them draw those ideas out into stories, into personas, into prototypes. And finally, we give them a 3-hour MBA. We ask them to make a plan, form a budget, and stand and deliver. We do that to identify the teams that we believe are ready to go out into the real-world gauntlet and implement a plan on the ground. But not everything goes so simply out in the real world, right? It's tough being an adult. And this is a literal quote from pretty much every participant. Almost literal. They struggle to find their footing in the real world, right? Those small actions we got them to do inside the safe zones in our program, they're not so easy outside. So they wilt in the pressure, right? We've had teams, wrong one. We've literally had teams come to us, and we've really got this down to 2 core issues that our teams have. The first terrible issue they always have in the real world is the traditional lunchtime nap. And the second one is opening a Facebook page. Those are the biggest problems we had. We've had teams come to us, Brian, I wanted to send you my project plan, but I was really tired and I took a nap. And then we had a team of sisters. They came to us and said, Brian, we have to quit the project. We have to quit. We're done. We can't do it. Many excuses. When we spent 2 or 3 hours with them finding the root cause, what were their problems? Really, what were their problems? 1, they were sisters and they argued about everything. Everything from the smallest to the biggest, didn't matter, they argued. The second thing is they didn't know what to write on their Facebook page. So we had them tell us, what is your project? And then we just had them write it into the Facebook page and launch it right then and there. Didn't even proofread it. Small action, small win. But as I'll share in a moment, a very big step onto something much bigger. We had other teams in our incubation that they would go out and they would do interviews and stakeholder analysis again and again and again. They were getting off into that great deeds plan territory. So we had to draw them back into small deeds done. And we found that when we did that, when we brought them back to the basics, they delivered great things. So let me introduce you to some of the teams. Job for Blind, a team that set out looking to change the way young people who are visually impaired find work. They went out, they interviewed 70 young people with visual impairment. They also went out and found corporations that have potential jobs for them. They found out what their needs were. Then they created an online community of over 500 people interested in this issue. After that, after our incubation, they joined up with another one of our teams to host a job fair for the visually impaired. 150 youth attended with 15 companies with jobs to give. Not only that, they provided CV revision services. As you can see on the picture, they're actually reading a CV by Braille. They helped blind youth revise their CV to present it in a better way. And finally, there was a cinema experience for the visually impaired. I should note that this team themselves were completely visually impaired, every member. So not only were they creating change for their peers, they were changing perspectives of their business partners, of investors, of their cinema, who is their sponsor, who happened to be their mentor as well. Next up, we have Kim Vang and her team, Team Sam. Sam in Vietnam has two meanings. It means wave, and it means life. Kim Vung is a student. As you can see, she's in a wheelchair. She claims that her ability to succeed in university is purely because of her friends who helped her get on and off the public bus because the bus was not accessible, so her friends needed to help her. Because of this experience, she wanted to help others understand how to do this. So she came to us, she entered our program to help teach others how to approach people with disabilities, how to offer your support and get them on and off the bus. In our program, they delivered 6 training sessions in 4 weeks for over 100 people. They created a community of over 700 people online to talk about this issue. Then, after our program was done, they kept going and they did monthly sessions at the National University. And most recently, they've joined up with an NGO and the Ho Chi Minh City Transport Department to have a citywide initiative on making public buses more accessible. Small actions do lead to great things. And finally, back to our sisters. Remember the ones who argue about everything? Well, after they determined that, hey, they actually could start a Facebook page, their mindsets changed. They went on to do research. They talked to 70 children and 40 adults about what they understood about respiratory health. Then they contacted a doctor, and they had the doctor help them design a medically accurate and fun 20-minute training program for children on how they can take care of their respiratory system better. Then they delivered this training program 7 times in a matter of weeks for 170 children. Then, with their documentation in hand, they transferred it over to Save the Children in Vietnam to be used in a nationwide training program for teachers. So really, that Facebook page led them to continue their work and really keep going. So really, this is what I mean by the transformative power of taking action. Little actions that you don't know where they're going, they can have big effects. Every single team member in our program, they wanted to quit. They had these doubts. They thought it was the end of the world when it was just a Facebook page. But you don't need to really take my word for it, because we asked our participants what value they believe they got from UPSHIFT. And in the words of Miss Mai Tu, she said, "With UPSHIFT, I learned that ideas will always stay in our minds if we never do anything to make it real. Just do it. No matter what failure or success we may have, we will never have regret because we did our best." Thank you.